Hello and welcome to another weekly update. Plenty of interesting things happened this week. I finally managed to put out a blog post and video about using the bot framework for Amazon Alexa, which is something I've been kind of excited to do. Sorry, I have an Alexa here and it's just triggered. I keep forgetting to turn it off. Every time I talk about this Alexa skill, I always forget to turn it off and it always triggers every time. This was announced as being GA recently at Build, and ever since then I've been wanting to try it, and it's just taken a little bit of time to get there. But I did manage to try it. I got something working, and I built a kind of cool way to expose your team's presence in Amazon Alexa. So if that sounds interesting, there's a whole blog post about it, and there's a whole 90-minute video where I start from absolutely nothing and build the bot from scratch. And the whole thing's recorded in Camtasia, so you can see kind of how I did it line by line, code by code. So if that's interesting, if you want to follow along or just for general interest, you can go and watch that. And then in the blog post I kind of just talk about some of the design decisions, some bits where it's harder than you might think, some bits where it's easier than you might think. That was followed about a day later by an update blog post, because I kind of got the wrong end of the stick in a little bit of a way. The thing that I did over 90 minutes, you could have done way before Build, because I was using a community contribution that's been around for a while. The thing that actually happened that made the kind of headlines at GA at Build, the thing that got made GA was that whole thing was just way easier because it's now exposed as a skill, meaning there's even less to do. So hence the update blog post and update video. So if you're thinking about doing all of that, you should watch the 90-minute video, but you should also watch the update as well, because it's even easier than I make it look in that first video, basically. So that's kind of been interesting to do. Good to try something different with the bot framework. There's loads that keeps evolving with the bot framework. That's just kind of one of a bunch of announcements that got made. I just jumped on it because it's solving a particular problem that I had. I thought it would be useful and fun to try. We've seen quite a lot, and we saw this at Build actually, the Scott Hanselman keynote, about these kind of Teams presence-enabled lights. He had a cool setup with some LifeX, I think that's how you pronounce it, lights. So the colours change when he changed his background or his presence. There's a couple of community contributions about Teams changing presence. I did the Skype for Business one, SKU. I did that for Philips Hue lights way back when. I haven't done it for Teams, just haven't had the time. But luckily some other people have, so that's great. You can go and take their stuff. But I wanted to do this one. This is kind of, for me, it's a bit of an evolution because I like the lights. I use the light sometimes, but actually just being able to yell at your Alexa and say, hey, what's Tom doing? If you're the other end of the house, then that's kind of cool for me. So yeah, interesting. All interesting. What else? So I talked about this a few weeks ago. The Graph team have been doing a kind of a lap around the Graph Toolkit. They did a whole series of different blog posts about some cool stuff you can do if you're coming to the Graph Toolkit for the first time. Even if you're not, there's things in there that you probably are not aware of that you haven't seen before. So there's some interesting things. They're now doing a season 2, I think based off of the success of the first lot. So that started now. There's a whole new season 2. So I've put a link to that blog post so you can kind of see all the new things. So if you've got some value and use out of the original lap around Microsoft Graph Toolkit, go and check out the season 2. If you didn't, or if you don't know what it is, go and check it out anyway. But just be aware there's a season 1 that might be worth looking at first as well. And finally, the other kind of exciting thing happening this week, I mean, this has been kind of happening for a while. It's just takes me a while to get used to get around to things at the moment. Commsverse. So let's talk about conferences a little bit. Yeah, it's not been the start to the conference season we all wanted, I think it's fair to say. I had a whole slew of interesting speaking slots lined up for the year, and obviously, as would be expected and obviously the right thing to do, they've all been cancelled or pushed way back. But conferences are coming back stronger than ever. We've seen some amazing online conferences already happen this year, and we're going to see some more. One of those is Commsverse. It was originally going to be around April time frame in person. It's now July and it's going to be online. So that's going to be a really good conference already. You can kind of tell they've really invested in some of the infrastructure to make it a great online event. So I'm very excited for that. I'm going to be talking there. I'm going to be talking something slightly different, I guess. I'm going to be talking about the bot framework, but specifically some things that came out of Ignite. So bot framework, but also Power Virtual Agents. You may have heard of those as a way to build bots as well. So I want to cover both of those, why they're different, when you might use one rather than the other, which is better maybe. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about at Commsverse. Commsverse is free to attend. There are some charges if you kind of nominal charges really. If you want to get on-demand content, so if you want all of the content but on demand, there's a nominal charge for that. I think that's a smart move. Like, just think of the effort, the processing power, and the storage cost, the compute cost to like doing on demand. Doing live is crazy enough, but like making it available on demand as well. So yeah, go and check that out. If you're missing conferences, there's a video as well. I'll try and link to in the description. I did like an online virtual conference myself in my house whilst locked down. So if that sounds interesting and a bit fun, you can go and check that out if you didn't see it. But yeah, looking forward to Commsverse as well. That's going to be a really good one. That's in about a month's time for that. All right, that's everything from me this week. Have a great weekend, whatever it is you're doing. Have a great week next week. And I will talk to you again next time.